I always wonder how I get stuck with the projects that I end up assigning myself with, but somehow I always do it. That's it. This is my last flip. Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is a sweet provincial nightstand that you can see is in rough shape. It has a horrible, horrible paint job, super uneven. There is glitter, lipstick, and makeup all over it. It's super uneven. And someone has decided to glue stars all over the front of this beautiful nightstand, but I'm going to remove all that grossness. And the grossness doesn't just stop there on the outside. There's also some kind of icky, gross, foamy, hard substance that has spilt over and poured onto the inside of the drawer. So this nightstand is a complete and total mess, and that's it. That's my last flip. And it is my last flip in this workshop. So Sab's Ruby has some exciting stuff going on, so make sure you stay after the final reveal to hear the big announcement and what's going on and happening with Sab's Rehabs. Okay, first thing up is all this grossness and misuse and abuse has got to go. So I don't even waste time cleaning. I start straight with Stripper. I use Quick Strip 15-minute formula. Let it set for 15 minutes, come back with a plastic scraper, and start to remove off all those layers of icky paint, glitter, and stars. I just love watching the process of abuse being removed from furniture. It took me 2 applications of Stripper to get most of the paint off. After that, I came back with some Goof Off After Paint Wash to remove the rest of the paint. It will also help clean up and wipe away any remaining Stripper residue. There were a few spots where paint was caked in the details or was left behind, so I did grab my carbide scraper and do a few minutes of scraping to remove the rest of the paint. During the stripping and cleaning process, I noticed that there is a chunk missing out of one of the legs, so I mixed up some Bondo and just built that up and let it set. While the Bondo was setting, I decided this was a good time to address all of that caked on stuff that's inside the drawers. I tried a few different methods, but found out that my carbide scraper and some good elbow grease was the best method to get this stuff off. After all of the paint was gone, it is time to start sanding, and I sanded just about everything. The inside and the outsides of the drawers, the fronts of the drawers, the entire body of the nightstand. This little piece took me hours and hours of sanding. Finally, after stripper, scraping, and sanding, this is where I'm at. It's looking so much better, and I love that natural wood look. Now I do go ahead and wipe all that sanding dust away with a damp lint-free cloth, and you can see whenever the wood gets wet, some of that orangey color comes right back, and that's not really the look that I want to go for on this piece. So I decide to mix up a paint wash. I use a beige color of paint and water and do a 50-50 mixture on the surface. Paint washes are a great way to change the wood tone, so to keep that natural wood look but still be able to see the wood grain through the color. You just put on a layer, work a section at a time, and then come back with a soft cloth and wipe away that excess paint wash. You can do this one coat. It usually takes me about 2 coats to get the color that I want for that natural wood look. Paint washes are super easy to do and very beginner friendly. After both coats of paint were dry, I did come back with a 400 grit sanding sponge and lightly went over the surface, wiped that dust away, and then sprayed 3 coats of my favorite top coat. I like to use Beige water-based polyurethane in the satin finish. For the handles, I just did a couple coats of this oil rubbed bronze by Rust-Oleum. I let that set overnight. The next morning, I noticed my rookie mistake. I put beige wash over some very red previously stained wood and it bled through. So you need to put a clear coat on before the beige wash in this situation. I will fix that, but also that morning, I had a new package arrive. Now this is my current stool for my workshop and it is just old and paint all over it and it's falling apart. I have one screw holding the seat on, but I can donate that to someone in need or toss it or whatever because Vivor sent me a new garage stool and I am so excited and so thankful for this because you saw that I needed one bad. Now, it doesn't come assembled, but it does come with everything in the box that you need to put it together. It took me maybe about 4 or 5 minutes to get it all together. It was super easy instructions to follow. And when it's all assembled, it looks super nice and fancy. You can tell it's just a great garage stool to have. Some of its features include this tray for your tools. It spins 360 degrees, a nice soft cushioned seat. There is a lever for adjustable height, and then there is locks on the wheel. And of course, whenever you get a new stool, the first thing you got to do is test it out. It was a lot of fun. It is a great quality stool, but I definitely give it 2 thumbs up. Okay, back to the furniture piece. So since I have that little bit of bleed through showing in spots here and there, I decided to camouflage that bleed through by adding a little bit of dark wax. I work in sections with dark wax. Now this already has 2 clear coats of the polyurethane, so I do not apply clear wax first. I go in straight with that dark wax, and then I come in with a fine grade steel wool to buff in and blend in that dark wood or that dark wax to give it a more natural look. With this dark wax, it ends up giving it more of an aged natural wood look, which I absolutely love. And I definitely enjoyed having that new stool to help me roll around and work around the piece as I went. I put the handles back on this piece, and then that's it. This piece is done. Here's a quick reminder of our before piece, just all that abuse, and it had good bones. But this is what it looks like now. It is beautiful again. I love the beige wash, and even though I had that little issue of a bleed through, which led me to use that dark wax, it got that aged natural wood look, which I think is exactly what this piece needed. This sweet little French Provincial nightstand is beautiful again. I hope you enjoyed this flip, and make sure you stick around for that big announcement. My husband and I made the difficult decision to list our suburban home for sale, hire some movers, move out. We listed the house, and it got an offer the very first week of being listed. We just decided that we want a slower pace of life and get back to my roots of being even more out in the country with those beautiful sunrises and sunsets. After we sold the house, we did find some land and closed on some raw land. Our land does need to be processed before we can move on, so we found a place to stay a few miles down the road, but you can see that it's just wide open spaces of farmland. This is my landlord's house, and she has a chicken coop right next to the house, and then next to the chicken coop is a tiny home that she decided to rent out for us for the next few months while we wait for our land to be done. Okay, timeline-wise, this move isn't really the greatest because I'm really into gardening and plants and herbs and vegetables. So we got right to work. I went ahead and planted a few little mini garden around the tiny home. And there was no fence to protect her dogs from our dogs, so we put in some hard work and put up a little fence so we could have a little bit of a yard. Now, if you want to see how successful your relationship is going to be, build a fence with your significant other. After trying a few different methods, we figured it out and we did get a fence put up. But you can see our girls are just absolutely love being further out in the country. They've been so spunky and playing so much lately. Now here's a little mini garden I have set up, which I planted most of my stuff in grow bags. So whenever our land is done and our new home is done, I can pick those up and take most of it with me right away. You can just see that it's just a cute little tiny home. And let me show you the inside and how we're making it work from going from 2,100 square feet to 8 to about 900 square feet. This is the living room area, so there's just enough room for part of our sectional, and it's super cute. Like, I love how they designed this. I love all the windows and the natural light that just pours into the tiny home. The kitchen is just the perfect size that you need for daily use. I love the open shelving on the top, and then since we are right next to the chicken coop, our landlord said we can go in and get all the fresh farm eggs that we want. Next to the kitchen is a utility room for our washer and dryer. It's also a spare bathroom and where we keep all of our pantry foods. I usually keep that door shut though because there's a lot going on in that room. The barn doors are an added beautiful touch. I just love the vibe and feel of this living space. This tiny home is a one bedroom. There's just enough space for our king size bed and two nightstands on one side of it. On the other side is our dresser, and I don't have a space to hang my dresses, so I just hang them on the door frame. Inside the bathroom, though, there is closet space and shelving for your shoes, and this absolutely beautiful tiled shower. So how do I make furniture flipping work in a tiny home? Underneath my bed, I have storage bins for my decoupage paper and stencils. In the closet, I have my wash bin to clean furniture. By the front door, I have my bins full of my sanders, paints, and tools that I need. I will have to work one piece at a time, and I keep that piece behind the couch out of the way. Now, part of being a YouTube furniture flipper, I do have to work from home, so I do have a little office nook set up in the living room to make this happen over the next few months. Where will I actually paint my pieces? I will just throw a tarp down and paint away on the porch. I have to work one piece at a time, but I'll make it work. Next, I got in my vehicle and I took a 2-mile drive down the road to where our raw land is. You can see that I'm driving down a red dirt road. It is flat, open spaces, and it is cattle rancher after cattle rancher out there. We've been looking for land for a few months and then finally settled on this new development that is in Crescent, Oklahoma. We ended up buying a plot of land that is a little over 3 acres, so we have plenty of space to do all of the gardening and homesteading that we want to. And of course, in the plans is to build myself a nice, huge workshop. One of the interesting facts, though, is that even though I'm in Oklahoma, the spot that we were living in has pretty sandy soil, but you can just see that it's wide and open country land. We are excited about this new journey, and I hope you all follow along. But listen to how quiet it is out here.